The following program contains elements of programming that are previously recorded and may appear as live.
Welcome to Hope Reigns, a show brought to you by 8 Days of Hope, where we share God-sized stories from the mission field all around the country. Now, live from the WDCX studios, here are your hosts, Steve Tiber and Mike Fiella.
Well, welcome back to another week of Hope Reigns, a broadcast of 8 Days of Hope. I love doing this. My name is Steve Tiber, and I'm hanging out with one of my dearest friends, a gentleman I've known for about 30-some years now.
Oh, that man.
Mike Fiella.
Hey.
So everyone knows that you're at least 45 out there.
Oh.
I've known you for 30 years. But we met in the early 90s.
Yeah. Well, you were a volunteer youth leader at a church in Western New York.
Yes.
And my daughter was in your youth group.
That's right.
And
she came back after that first week. She didn't get upset with me and came back,
no,
right?
To this day, she talks so highly of you.
Oh, my gosh.
I remember Steve. How's Steve doing?
Oh,
I'm your dad. How about you?
No, she's super sweet. That is
Anyway.
amazing because now she's got 6 kids, right?
8.
8 Days of Hope, baby.
Yeah, 8 days.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, they're all going to be volunteers.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, welcome to Hope Reigns. So what is Hope Reigns? If you've never listened before, we share God-sized stories from the mission field. The mission field is next door. It's down the block.
Yep.
It's the next town over. It's the next state over. It's the next country over. It's halfway around the world. It's at Walmart today. It's at Target. It's when you go pick up some fast food at Chick-fil-A. We get a chance to love and serve people around us by the way we treat them. And today we're going to talk to volunteers who actually serve with the ministry of 8 Days of Hope. What is 8 Days of Hope? Who we are? Here it is, 90-second version. 20 years ago, a storm came called Katrina. If you are as old as Mike and I, you remember it very well.
Sure.
Maybe we don't. Maybe we're going to start forgetting things pretty soon. But anyways, my dad and I thought it'd be cool to go help out one family, help them rebuild their house. Have you ever had a plan before and you realize that you're not in control? I love to have my ducks in a row. You know that.
Oh,
Mike.
yeah, sure.
And I like when their feathers are brushed the same way.
Nice.
So I kind of had a plan, and then God said, oh, great, Steve, that's your plan, because I have a different plan. 684 people came with us. It was our smallest mission trip ever, but we rebuilt 84 homes in 8 days.
Amazing. Yeah.
Number 8 in the Bible means new beginnings, hence 8 Days of Hope. Rebuild trips, 8 days long. Now, 20 years later, 12,000 families have had their homes rebuilt for free. We have a mass feeding arm that just fed 25,000 people in Mississippi after Winter Storm Fern. And today, as we record the show here in upstate New York, a team of volunteers are in Mississippi, or in Texas, Houston, Texas, building a safe house for women who will be rescued from sex trafficking in about 2 months when the World Cup comes to America.
Sure. Gotcha.
They'll have a safe place to go. So, again, $96 million of work. That wasn't our plan. That was God's plan, though, Mike.
So you think about 600 people that started down after Katrina, and as a little look at the website, I want to encourage you to go to 8daysofhope.com. You're going to see and read up. You got, like Steve just said, the rebuilding ministry. You've got rapid response. We'll be talking about that today.
They're in Oxford, Mississippi right now.
And as the safe house and the mass feeding, it was totally amazing.
Join us. If you want to learn more about 8 Days Hope, go to the website, as Mike just said. If you want to be invited to go serve with us wherever we go, check this out. It's free. We provide food and lodging. You just got to get there. It is going to be the cheapest, the most inexpensive mission trip of your entire life. Mike loves it because he calls it 8 pounds of hope, because he and I go to ice cream stands every night when we go deploy.
That's the first thing we look at when we go to a town. Where's the ice cream? No, I'm kidding.
Where's the local Dairy Queen?
Yeah.
It's free. Here's how you can sign up. Text the word HOPE. Pull out your phones. It's probably already in your hand as we speak anyways. Where you normally put a name, put the number 86373. 86373. Text the word HOPE to 86373. The word HOPE. Text it to 86373. And whenever we go anywhere, we'll invite you.
And we won't blow your phone up. We'll just let you know.
No, we won't.
And no, you'll get some great information.
So about 800 volunteers, Mike, served in Oxford, Mississippi after major winter storm Fern.
Right.
I almost said hurricane. Kind of felt like a hurricane.
Sure.
The power outages were unbelievable. Something that we haven't seen since Hurricane Ida, when Ida hit LaPlace, Louisiana, in the New Orleans area. But Mike, 800 volunteers got a text from 8 Days of Hope, and they said, yes, we'll go. And they went, and they made 25,000 meals, and they serve those meals through 25 different sites, including church after church after church, because we want the local church to shine. Meanwhile, there were hundreds of volunteers operating chainsaws and bucket trucks and bobcats in New Albany, Mississippi, and Oxford, Mississippi. And the latest number I have is about 160 different families saw volunteers, strangers, who became their lifelong friends, I bet, because they blessed them by tarping the roof or taking a tree off their house or removing a tree that was blocking their driveway so they can go get food and their medicines. But, Mike, what an amazing time of serving those in need.
Well, you think about it, if I'm right here, 80,000 people were out of power at one point. You got a college in the area, 20,000 students there they sent home. And, the work that's been done through 8 Days of Hope to help get them bounce back is incredible. And like you said, the volunteers are amazing.
It was an amazing outreach. Now, it had some struggles because there was a power outage. And, Mike, normally I don't correct you on radio because the 80,000 number was the last week. The highest number at any point in Mississippi was, I think, almost 400,000 families that had power.
Oh, okay, great. No, thank you.
I think 80,000 was in the Oxford area, so that number was right for the area we were at. But literally from New Albany to Corinth to Boonville, our national headquarters didn't have power for a week, but we had some power generators, so we got it going. But the power was out at our place, I think, for like 8-9 days.
Oh man! Well, thanks for that correction, because that's amazing. That much.
That's
so it's
imagine your power being out for weeks, Mike. No. Imagine your power being out for 2 days. Time out. Imagine your power being out for 5 hours. I would get grumpy pretty fast.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. We'd be complaining, we'd be, grumbling. Even if we wouldn't vocally say it, we'd be grumbling inside,
Sure.
But this is, try to wrap your head around this. And the folks down there are not used to that cold of weather.
No. You're talking Mississippi, where, I lived there for 20 years. In January, I might get down to the upper 30s, but during the day it's 50s and 60s. But our first guest today is going to actually be in studio. He's one of our volunteer leaders. He's an amazing leader. His name is Brett McDowell. He'll be joining us in a minute. But he left a place where you call home, upstate New York, Western New York.
Absolutely.
Where it is normally very cold in January, February. And he went to Oxford, Mississippi, only to find out it was going to be colder there than in Buffalo, New York. I can't wait to hear his story on that.
Sure.
It was one friend of mine went from Buffalo. He said, Steve, I brought short sleeve shirts. I didn't look at the weather map. I'm like, dude, go to the store. You can buy a coat and donate when you're done or whatever.
Sure.
But man, it was cold in the beginning.
Well, I know my wife and I were walking around the house, during this time, and it was really a cold snap in Western New York, and we both looked at each other and said, Oxford.
That's right. Let's go serve people.
Kind of turned us around.
It's 60. Yeah, right. You're thinking to be now. I think the last week we were there, we just wrapped up last week. The last week it was in the 50s and 60s because I was there last week.
Okay.
And
so you brought the warm weather. Huh?
Well, I don't know about that, but it was nice to be down there. Hey, I want to give a shout out to some of the radio stations that carry Hope Reigns every week, like WAUI in Shelby, Ohio. Our friends in Great Falls, Montana, a beautiful, beautiful. If you've never been to Montana, go out to Montana. KAFH. Thank you so much for carrying Hope Reigns. And then our friends in Quincy, California. We have multiple radio stations in California that carry Hope Reigns every week. Quincy, California, KNLF. Thank you for listening. Hope Reigns every single week. Our second guest today, Mike, will be Reagan Ayers. Reagan is our social media manager. Talk about being busy. Her job is to respond to every response we get on social media. Mike, when you deploy with 800 volunteers and you're deployed in 25 different markets with food and volunteers, she was working nonstop. Meanwhile, we're working on a tour of Ben Fuller. Go to benfullerofficial.com for his tour dates. Everywhere he goes, starting in a couple of weeks, Mike, we're going to be there with him. And she's been preparing for that. So she's going to talk about that as well. So
yeah, and if you go to the website under who we are and look at her picture.
She's
got
so
this
sweet.
pleasant smile.
She's so
and
sweet.
she carries that through sometimes chaos, sometimes whatever, but
she
got it together. Love
so
it.
You were talking about your daughter being in youth group where I was a leader. Here's a story on Reagan. Reagan, I lived in Tupelo, Mississippi, and the church I belonged to started an Awana program.
Oh,
and
okay.
they asked me and a young lady, Miss Haley, to be co-commanders.
Okay.
So commanders, you're kind of overseeing the program and in charge of giving the message every week. And so every week when I did the message, I would dress up as a chef. And I'd come out with a chef. Every message, every week I'd start with a chef. And I'd come out and I'd always had flour in my hands. And I would say, hello, you remember me? It is Chef Boyar Steve. Ha ha, wee. And when I did that, I clapped my hands together and the flour would go flying in the air.
Oh, goodness.
And all the little kids would just watch every week. They knew it was coming, but every week they were glued. And she used to be in that Awana class. She was like the 4 and 5-year-olds in that class. So to this day, she remembers Chef Boyar Steve. So I've known her for a while.
Folks, I wish you could see the joy and smile on Steve's face when he's describing this, because I can tell you love to do that.
I had so much fun.
Yeah, I can sure you did.
So Reagan, I've known Reagan. She's amazing.
Absolutely.
She is so sweet. And now she's working with the Ben Fuller Tour. And today she's going to tell you, the listener, how you can win 2 free tickets to a Ben Fuller concert. And oh, by the way, 8 Days Hope is going to be there too. And I'll be at 20 of the 28
I was just
stops.
going to say, you're at 20.
So I'm going to come out, hello, you remember me, Chef Boyar Steve, wee. And they're all going to run to the gates. They're like, who's this crazy guy with 8 Days of Hope? So I won't do that.
Call
Anyways,
security.
Where did we go with all that?
I don't know.
That's
That's
a
fun,
first.
though.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, funny, right? Steve Tyber hanging out with Mike Fiala. Mike, we were in Oxford, Mississippi for 3 weeks.
Yes.
Volunteers came from 25 different states. Last week when Pastor Chris Williams was on with us, he said, Steve, I met people from Indiana and Texas and out west New Mexico and New York and Ohio. And he was just blown away at all the license plates in his parking lot. One of the license plates that was in the parking lot was from New York. And Brett McDowell's in studio. Brett, welcome back home.
Good morning, guys. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
First of all, you've got a great voice for radio.
Well, thank you. I'm not sure about that. We'll see.
Mike, he's looking at your seat.
I can tell.
Now, you know he doesn't make a penny doing this. So before you want his job, know that it's just free.
Okay. Well, it's all yours.
It's
Mike,
pro bono.
Yeah.
Well, you got
I can't touch you, Mike.
You got the voice.
So how long have you been a volunteer leader with 8 Days of Hope now?
My first deployment was Hurricane Harvey, fall of 2017.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
You remember that,
Rapid
Mike?
response.
I do.
4,962 people. Rebuilt 808 homes in 16 weeks. And Brett was one of them.
I love it.
Was that crazy trip?
It was crazy. I did the rapid response in the fall, then the rebuild.
Oh, my
so
gosh.
I got to see both of it twice in Houston. Yeah. So it was a really good introduction to the ministry overall.
What is your background?
Well, for me, I worked for M&T Bank as a technologist for
Another
30 years. You know, application development for M&T was my deal.
Wow.
And the Lord's blessed me over many years, and I retired in the summer of 24.
Love it. Wow. Mike and I are looking at each other. What's application development, Mike? Take a stab, and then I'll take a stab. What's your
application development? I apply for give me some money, please, and you approve it.
Well,
all through the website.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To me, you just give him something that he applies and he develops it.
How many bankers do we have now that
You
have
know what?
joined us?
Last week, Chris Williams, the pastor at North Oxford Baptist Church, where you called home for a while, he was a banker that left the banking industry. And Dustin Sullivan, our rapid response director, he was a banker to join the ministry world. So
That's right.
Amazing.
Tell us a little bit about you before we talk about your visit to Oxford.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in Western New York for most all of my life. It was probably about 10, 12 years ago or so where God was really pulling me into a deeper intimacy which drove him to, have me serve with 8 days. I remember when I started serving the Lord, I was asking him for kind of like that next step. And then in church, Steve Tyber comes on with a video about 8 Days of Hope and the disaster that was happening in Houston. And then God was like, hey, it's time. And I was like, well, Lord, I was hoping maybe for something in Orchard Park.
Yes, which is only 10 miles down the road.
Right. So, I'm married with kids, grandkids now, 3 grandkids, so which is awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. So I love serving the church and serving with 8 Days of Hope, so I'm glad to be a part of it.
So you were a banker, and then your first trip was to Houston. What did you do when you got to Houston? That background that you had?
Well, that's the interesting thing. So we were the rapid response. So I was working in a home that was downstream of a dam that they had to release. So this home was completely submerged.
So it was planned flooding.
Yes.
I mean, because they had
I didn't know anything about that.
Wow.
They didn't teach us that in technology school.
Sure,
so I'm learning here as we go. But the whole house was submerged, and it had been sitting in the sun for probably 4 weeks before we got there. So now based on that, so everything that was going on, the different smell. I mean, just the smell. It was a literal disaster. So we met a homeowner there. She had just lost her husband, 3 months. Kids were out of town. So you want to talk about looking at somebody who had a degree of hopelessness of the work. She goes, I tried to pay somebody $20,000 to clean this up. They said, I can't do it. Not even close. In 4 hours, we had that home gutted to a level that was ready for it to become dry again. But that's not the best part of it. Watching this woman transition and transform it from a hopelessness point, by lunchtime, the pep in her step was amazing. I was blown away. I mean, she was a hard worker. She was out there doing everything with us. And so to see her spirits lift on that first trip. And then I knew I was in. That was the reciprocal blessing. When I walked out of there tired and physically sore, I couldn't explain why I felt the way I did in terms of walking away from there, serving that. So that was the first experience that I had. And then, along the way, there are many more. Like you see situations like that time and time again.
Talking to Brett McDowell, he's a volunteer leader with 8 Days of Hope, and he lives in Western New York, and yet he has traveled around the country to serve with us. Where else have you served other than Texas and now Mississippi? We'll get to Oxford in a minute.
Yeah, sure. So let's see, Houston twice. We did Panama City Beach. I've been in Nebraska. Funny story about my retirement, fast forwarding just a little bit. The week, my last week on the job, I'm going fast to get everything worked out, and I get this text from my wife. Hey, are you gonna go? Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go? I go where? What are you talking about? What's going on? Well, 8 days old. There, that's the flood in Sheldon took place. So
yes.
So my last week of work, I'm sitting at home, finishing my day, power down my computer, get in the car and drive to Sheldon. That was the first thing I did. And so
welcome to retirement.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So, along the way being in Buffalo, so I've been blessed to be here local, being a part of all the projects that we do. Third week of July. Yeah,
we do a one-off outreach every summer. We'll be announcing this year's outreach in about 6 weeks or so. So you've traveled all over the place.
Yeah, and 2024 was a really busy year for. So
yes.
we did Sheldon, yes. We came, then Buffalo, and then we had Westfield flood, and then we had Valdosta, and then we had Asheville. So for my first few months of retirement, that was busy.
I love it. And Mike, and we go coast to coast. Wherever the Lord opens up the door, we go. And so the door opened in Oxford, Mississippi. And you live in Western New York, Buffalo, New York. For those who what is Western New York? Buffalo, New York, which is known for its cold and its snow. And you respond to a winter storm called Fern, and you go to Oxford, Mississippi. Now, when you said yes to doing that, you probably thought it would be warmer in Mississippi than in Buffalo. But when you showed up, that wasn't the case, was it? And then what did you see when you showed up, by the way?
Yeah, so it definitely was a new experience because most of the deployments, there's warmer weather, so you pack differently. So I didn't know really. It was a strange thing. I live in cold weather climate, except I was confused when it came to
we were confused too.
I didn't know what to put in my bag or pack, but I did the best I could, and I knew that I was. Well, here was the other kicker too. So I was planning. I had already planned on being in Tupelo for the annual training.
Oh, okay.
So I had well, I had shorts and T-shirts packed for that. Like nothing. And so when I heard the storm came, and then oh my gosh, we're going to deploy, and I had to rearrange my plans a little bit, repack the bags, and get ready for. So it was the first cold weather deployment for me.
Okay.
What caused some issues to that, Mike, is that when he showed up, the church. Last week we had Pastor Chris Williams on with us. They didn't have any power,
Right.
and so we said, no problem. We'll go get a generator to power up your whole church so you have power and your heat will kick back on.
Right.
Because that was going to be home base. We get there, the generator works, the power comes back on, but guess what? The heat doesn't come back on.
Oh, no.
So now you have volunteers on their way to Oxford, Mississippi, where it's like, what was the temperature the first 5 days there on average? Was it 10, 15, 20 degrees?
Yeah, like that, right? You know,
Yeah.
and then you factor
Yeah.
in the wind chill, what it feels like.
So we moved the women to a facility that had heat. The men stayed in a facility that had less heat. I don't want to say no heat, but I don't want to scare anyone off. Had very less heat, much less heat, but no one complained.
You know, that's the beautiful thing about it is the people that I've met time and time again, and I have over the years many friends from across the country, and we're all united in heart to serve, and it's all done in a cheerful manner.
Yeah,
It really is.
That's right. I'm just curious, side note, why wasn't the heat on once we got power? Was there...
So well, that's the big question, right? So, you know, the leaders get there a day or two ahead of time. So there was a handful of us sleeping in the gym where we thought the rest of the volunteers were going to sleep, but it was like 49 degrees.
Oh my
so
gosh.
the first night was tough, and so we had to quickly pivot. Great partners in Oxford. So within a matter of a couple hours of that new day, we found a church that offered us their gym.
Okay.
So I was kind of in charge of the men's lodging facility, getting everything ready, talking to the leaders and making sure. But it was like maybe 3 degrees warmer.
Oh, gosh. 52. Did you get the suntan lotion out and kind of like, woo, I don't want to get burned here.
So it was interesting.
So the first church, the boiler, they had a boiler, and the boiler had an issue of cranking up. I know eventually things worked out. So if you're listening today, this doesn't ever happen, but I guess it just did. And yet I'm thankful, Brett, for you and the others who found a way to pivot. Thankfully, the women were warm. Again, everything was up and running at some point. It was a hard start.
That's right.
But Mike, we've seen this.
Yes.
When I tell people all the time, you know, I had a plan 20 years ago. God had a different plan, right? We had a plan. My dad and I, we had a plan. You go down there thinking you're going to love and serve people. There's going to be roadblocks. The enemy's going to attack because God's about to be on the move, and he's going to be seen everywhere.
That's right.
And I am so thankful. You know, we had Pastor Chris on last week, and he was just talking about the volunteers. He went on and on about the new friends. The church has had to take a look at itself and how are we going to pay it forward. And, you know, we can't ignore that 8 Days Hope is right down the road, and we should be working with them once we get through this little, you know, this mess here. And people saw Jesus the last 3 weeks.
Well, isn't that how we see Jesus? When we got a plan, we go forward with it, it gets disrupted, and all of a sudden it works out, not the way we planned it, but we see how God moves, and he does.
But, Brad, it's also the way you handle things like that. Because there's going to be curveballs. There's going to be curveballs. I promise you. That's just how it works. You know, when you deploy 800 people and you're sleeping in multiple facilities and you're feeding people 25 different sites, making 25,000 meals. But I do love, Brett, how you and the others are flexible and you adjust and, you know, you count it all joy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%. It's all about keeping ourselves grounded and who are we there for?
Thank you.
And so it's to glorify God.
Amen.
And so if we have to look, I'm here to tell you, like that 59 degree, 49 degree, whatever, did not bother me one single bit. Mm-hmm. You know, I can honestly tell you that because I was doing it for the Lord. And in our weakness, the Lord strengthens us.
Amen.
And so
we all got to remember that. We all got to remember that.
Absolutely.
Next time your heater goes out for 2 hours, Mike, remember that. Because I'm praying mine doesn't go out for 2 hours. But what if it goes out for weeks? And that's what happened in Mississippi.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I'm so thankful. I don't know if you saw, Brett, but over 25,000 meals were produced, and they were delivered 25 different. We've never delivered more than 2 sites at one time. 25 sites.
I tell you, I have yet to serve in the mass feeding arm of the ministry, but I tell you, it's the one I brag about the most.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing the amount of production that comes about with these meals. It's just incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when you're devastated and dealing with the destruction like that storm, having a warm meal goes a long
It really
way.
does. It really does. It does. Shout out to the mass feeding team. And again, if you prayed for the outreach in Mississippi in our response to Winter Storm Fern, thank you. And I mean that. Thank you. About 400 of those 800 volunteers that showed up were there for the very first time. We've been around 20 years. We had some volunteers saying, hey, I live 20 miles away. I've heard of you a little bit, but I didn't know what you guys do right here in Northeast Mississippi. And then when they found out that last year we were in L.A. with the fires, and we were in Buffalo, New York, because they got 6 feet of snow, and we were down in Florida because of a tornado or flooding in these different markets. They're like, oh my gosh. But I love how God moves after disasters. He opens up the door for all of us to use our gifts to be a light in a very dark world.
And we are so grateful for you, Brett, and volunteers like you that have just the stamina, just the saying yes, and it's all over. I can just look at your face, and you're just a peaceful, calm guy that gets the job done.
Well, guys, yeah, I mean, I'm humbled and honored to serve the Lord in this way. And I'm going to keep doing it until he tells me otherwise.
I love it. I love it. Brett McDowell, one of the volunteer leaders with 8 Days of Hope. Brett, what are you going to remember a couple years from now of going down to Oxford, besides that it was super cold, and maybe next time you go down there it's going to be in the 60s, 70s. What are you going to remember, though, from this outreach that you were a part of?
Well, I tell you, the people for sure. I mean, they were so grateful for us, and there were multiple homeowners that stopped and wanted to pray for us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean,
Love that.
these were widows. These were women that are the one was elderly, kind of dealing with a health issue, no husband, but she goes, no. At the end of the job, we always gather, pray, talk to her about whatever she wants to listen to, because it's about the people first.
Sure.
Job gets done all the time, never failed, but it's about
the journey.
The journey.
Yes.
So they stopped, prayed. I mean, that hits. That hits, and that's part of the reciprocal blessing of serving.
I love it. I love it. That's a really unique community down there. I love that area. Again, I lived there for 20 years, and the people are so nice, so kind, so grateful, so humble. A lot of followers of Jesus, and yet there's a lot of culture down south as well that, you always went to church, so you go to church, and yet we see some of those who've been to church for a while, all of a sudden they're inspired that maybe their relationship isn't where it should be because, a tree falls on the roof and strangers from Kentucky and New York and Iowa show up and they bless them, and they're in awe of how God provided them help.
Well, not only that, but then God prompts in their hearts the desire to connect and serve.
Yeah,
so we had a number of people from Oxford. I had one on my team that was lived 2 miles away from where we were serving.
I love it.
So it's a great way. It's so wonderful.
I love it. Well, thank you for the way you lead.
Yes.
I love that you were able to retire at such an early age so you can serve with 8 Days of Hope, and for other reasons as well, Brett. But it's when I heard you were down there, I look at the list, Mike, from time to time, and I don't do it every day because the names change. But when you see some of the people down there, like last week, I know Jim Dobmar was down there, and Jim and I are pretty close, and that makes me smile. And then I get a text from another leader from Kansas that was taking 3 days off to shoot down there and help some people, and I'm just blown away we get to do this.
Yeah, God has blessed this ministry, as you know, with the leadership of like Brett and all those that you have mentioned, and the volunteer leaders across the board. It's just amazing.
Love it. Love it. Last question, Brett. If someone's listening today, they're driving down the roads of Georgia or Alabama or maybe in Ohio or upstate New York, and they've never been on a missions trip, why should they consider serving with 8 Days of Hope?
That's a good question. I think that, God's wired us for connection, each and every one of us. And then uniquely, individually, God's gifted us with certain skills that his desire is to steward those. The great thing about 8 Days of Hope, no matter what God has gifted you with, there's so many opportunities, different opportunities to serve across the board. You don't have to be physically strong. or be skilled in craftsmanship. Time and time again, I've seen these stories of people who didn't think that they had anything to offer.
That's
and
so
they
good.
come there and they're blessed. So if you have a heart, a compassion to serve others, then I would just say, take a leap of faith, go on 8daysofhope.com, search for the opportunity.
Man, I love it. I love it. Did you see when he said, if you're physically not strong, and he looked at me that point? I don't know why he looked at me. He didn't look at you, Mike.
Well, I don't know. If you would have said less skilled, he would have looked at me then.
Okay. Well, he had us both covered, I think. Brett, thank you. And that was so articulate. You know, we had a lady on last week, Miss Nancy, and she's a family that we served in Oxford. And I asked her what will she'll always remember 5 years from now. Said, I'll never forget meeting Miss Mary and Miss Ann, and I saw them operate chainsaws because they had gone through the certification program, 8 Days of Hope. Said, I didn't know, and I was flabbergasted when these two sweet ladies, you know, they're praying for me 1 minute, and then next thing you know, they're cranking a chainsaw and they're doing some tree work.
You see that a lot of times, too.
Oh, my gosh, heck yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, I love it. I love it. If you want to learn more about 8 Days of Hope, it's simple. You can go to 8daysofhope.com, submit your email address, and whenever we go anywhere, we'll send you an email. Or if you like texting, and texting happens right away. Sometimes we don't look at emails for a day or two or three, and that's okay, of course. But if you want to sign up for our text alerts, we're not going to blow up your phone. I promise you. I get the text. I don't want to, see one every other day. And we don't send text after text asking for money. We're just going to say, hey, we're in Oxford, Mississippi. Come join us. Click this link below. You'll always be in the know where we're serving. It's free, and we provide food and lodging. And you'll go home tired, but your heart's going to be full.
Yes.
Brett, your heart's full today, isn't it?
Amen. Amen.
I love it. And you slept in a warm house last night.
I did.
Praise God.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Brett McDowell, thank you so much. I love the leaders that God has sent our way.
Yeah.
Like we have some amazing leaders.
Yeah.
Ex-teachers, people who were doctors, people who were business leaders or corporate leaders, people who were pastors or they were part of other ministries, and people, there's 300 Brett McDowells out there with 8 Days of Hope.
And he used the word connection. There's
Yes.
connection with 8 Days of Hope volunteers, leaders, and homeowners.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stuff you'll never forget. It'll change your life if you come out and volunteer.
I'm thankful Brett's my friend.
Yes.
I never would have met Brett. Maybe would have seen him in the hallway at a church or something, but we never would have had, conversation. Sure. I mean, because why am I going to stop and just say, hi, my name's Steve. What's your name? Brett. Oh, hey, Brett. What do you do in life? I mean, that doesn't happen a lot. Sure. Not in today's world.
But when you get out on an 8 Days of Hope project, it's
and you
different.
serve with people.
Way different. So
I can hear Brett now. Steve, get back to work. Get off your phone. Thanks, Brett, for coming in. Appreciate it.
You guys.
Steve Tiber here, hanging out with Mike Fiala. Mike, I love Brett's heart. I tell you, Brett.
Oh, yeah.
A guy in the banking world, and now he's going all over the states that he mentioned.
Yes.
He mentioned like 8-10 different places.
Mm-hmm. So cool, calm, collected, and God's using him in a powerful way. Great leader.
And another articulate guest.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of guests these days that are kind of looking to see
At
when
our
you
jobs.
when you and I are going to retire. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer. But
Yeah,
anyways.
just a little bit, yeah.
That was Ben Fuller singing Black Sheep. And why is that so important to bring up to you? Because in a minute, we're going to bring on Reagan Ayers, who's our social media manager. And we're going to talk a little bit about how do you keep up when you're deployed and delivering food to 25 different sites and you have heavy equipment in 2 different areas and a safe house team in Texas building a safe house. And, oh, by the way, tell us more about Ben Fuller and how somebody can win free tickets. So we'll get to that eventually. But the Black Sheep Tour is starting March 12th. Go to benfullerofficial.com for more information. 8 Days of Hope is helping sponsor the tour, and at every stop, we'll be on stage sharing videos and about 20 minutes worth of videos and talk to invite you to join us in the battle to provide hope to those after disasters or building safe places for women and children rescued from trafficking. So a lot going on with Ben Fuller, and we're going to be with him.
So here's my question to you.
Oh, gosh, here we go.
I remember a time, it was in Buffalo, that Ben called you up on the stage.
He did.
And he's singing, and he
Oh, my
he
gosh.
pointed the mic towards you
Never
and wanted
again.
you to take a line.
Charmaine said, Steve, that was one of your happiest moments in life because I got to sing Who I Am with my buddy Ben Fuller. But I think after that, once Ben says, "I hope I didn't embarrass you." I said, "I guess I'm good." He says, "Don't worry. I promise you, I will never do that again."
My wife and I were sitting there going, our jaws dropped and said, "Uh-oh, I know what he's thinking."
Thankfully, it was the chorus because I know those words, but I do know the whole song now. So if he does call me up, I'm getting ready.
Love it.
Don't tell him, but
I won't.
But you can. No, I'm kidding you. Don't tell him.
What's his phone number?
No. Reagan Ayers is on with us this morning. Hope Reigns. Reagan, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. I'm wonderful.
I'm thankfully, Mike serves on the board of 8 Days Hope. I'm a board member as well. Mike, I'm glad we don't pay Reagan per hour for the last month because we would have to quadruple her pay. She's been going nonstop with social. How you been keeping up, Reagan? You've been amazing. First of all,
thank you.
10 stars.
Thank you.
You
Yes,
were amazing.
yes.
How do you keep up during a deployment like that? Let's start there. Social media. How do you keep up?
Yeah, that's awesome. Great question. Well, we have a wonderful team. And so as our social media has had lots of traffic, I, as well as someone else on our team, have been tag teaming, answering comments. And so thankfully I haven't had to do it alone. But it's been wonderful to see all of the people's responses. We've had amazing volunteers, people praying, people giving gifts. It's been amazing to see.
Reagan, 800 volunteers showed up from 25 states. You delivered food, or 8 Days Hope delivered food to 25 different sites, including many, 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 many churches. Over 150 families were served in New Albany, Mississippi, and Oxford, Mississippi. Do you ever step back, and are you ever in awe of what God does?
Absolutely. I've had moments during this outreach that I've had just wow moments where I'm like, oh my goodness. The other day I was walking through our warehouse, our national headquarters, just back in the back, and some of our equipment's there, some of it isn't. And I just had that wow moment of, I get to do this every single day. And what a privilege it is to be able to serve in this capacity. When I was younger, when I was 11 or 12, first starting out and everything, I always said, I want to do ministry and travel, but I don't know what it looks like. But God does. Anyway, so then he opened the door for me to be here, and I'm just in awe of that, I'm living in that answered prayer, and I every day get to see it and see the hands and feet of Jesus and meet people from all over the country, and it absolutely wrecks me sometimes because of how beautiful God is and how beautiful the family of God is.
And you carry a great smile all the time. I've never seen anything else but an amazing smile on your face. So tell us a little bit, Oxford, what was your experience there? What happened? Or not, we know what happened, but how was your time there?
Yeah. So we just wrapped up in Oxford, Mississippi. Like you said, we had hundreds of volunteers show up. The first time I went through there, I just remember seeing and thinking, it looks like a tornado went through here. And I, I'm from the South, so I really have never seen an ice storm like this. And so for me, it was quite a shock to see all of the ice impact. But what was so beautiful about this outreach specifically was that the people that came, the volunteers that showed up, they were impacted by our team, by the Lord, as much as the families were that we served. Every time, we had worship and devo, people said just how phenomenal it was. The homeowners that came and shared testimonies was just, people had tears in their eyes every single night, and just how powerful and what God has been doing in that community and all throughout Northeast Mississippi through our mass feeding and through rapid response. It has been incredible.
Talking to Reagan Ayers, she's the social media manager for 8 Days of Hope. She is based out of our Tupelo, Mississippi, our national headquarters. And I know that a lot of people were coming and going. Reagan, I just got this text earlier today, last night, that out of the 800 volunteers or so, I think even more than that is the final number. We'll get it here in the next couple of days. but about half of them were first-time volunteers. They had never served with 8 Days of Hope before.
Yeah.
And they either came to our facility in Pontotoc and made food with our mass feeding, or they literally, like, our first guest, Brett McDowell, was mentioning that somebody from Oxford just said, hey, my house wasn't messed up. It wasn't ruined. No trees fell down. I'm going to serve with you guys in my own community. It was amazing how many first-time volunteers served with 8 Days of Hope.
It was, oh my goodness. And I think that that's, part of, God's plan. We knew that we were going to be in our stomping grounds, in Northeast Mississippi. A lot of people know us, but what has been beautiful about this outreach too is that a lot of people who did know us came and helped, and a lot of people who had never heard of us came and helped. Whether they heard through social media or their churches, emails, text messages, all over, and just the word got out. Our posts were shared, and people had that passion. You're right. They wanted to serve their neighbors. I know you mentioned Brett McDowell and how, he's amazing. And, I don't know if you said where he is from or not, but he came from New York and to serve in Mississippi. And so just how amazing it is to see the family of God come together, whether they knew each other or not. It's just been so beautiful to see new faces, to meet new people, to make those relationships, and just seeing the hands and feet in the masses come, people we have never met, and the people that we just became family with. It is so beautiful, like you said.
Mike Reagan is in charge of our producing. She works with our videographers and some others. Sure. Some of us sometimes have a couple thoughts here and there, but at the end of the day, she's responsible for everything that goes on social media. And so, as you know, Reels, short videos are the wave because, last night I was in the Atlanta airport. My wife and I were flying back home. It was late at night, like 10 o'clock Eastern time. We were boarding a plane. And I just walking down the aisle of the plane, just watching everyone on their phone, taking their finger and scrolling reel after reel.
Oh, yeah.
Reagan, the amount of reels that were put out during this outreach and the hundreds of thousands of views helped get the word out what God was doing. How cool was that to see? I think there was a video out. I was looking this morning, or maybe it was late last night, 460,000 views. I mean, how cool is that to be producing something is by being viewed by that many people?
Mind-blowing. I mean, truly. I could have never imagined that happening personally. But God, he knows what he's doing, and that it was just cool to step back and watch him do it. He gave me this thought about a year ago, and he said, our goal is to share the gospel. He will bring the people. And that's what I think that was a beautiful example of the content that was produced, and that we were able to share over the time of the response that we, what we were doing, our hands and feet, the light that we were shining was sharing the gospel. And he brought the people, he brought the hands and feet, and he brought the people, the eyes to see that, and then to share it and be encouraged. And we'll never know, those are out there forever. We'll never know the eternal impact that that's putting on someone's life.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's so beautiful.
Absolutely. Talking to Reagan there, she's the social media manager for 8 Days of Hope. 8 Days of Hope just wrapped up a deployment in Mississippi. Today, Reagan, we are in Texas, Houston, Texas. We're building a facility that will offer a safe place for women who will be rescued from sex trafficking during the upcoming World Cup. World Cup's coming to America, and Houston is going to have multiple events. Trafficking numbers are going to skyrocket. Again, it's not the easiest topic to talk about, but today, while we're interviewing you, there's volunteers renovating thousands and thousands of square feet. So women who are rescued have a safe place to put their head down at night, knowing that they're going to get the help they need. How rewarding is that, knowing that you're playing a part in that as well?
It, humbles me so much. I was talking to a volunteer who was there, and she, said it so well, just like you did. And it was just I didn't have words when we were talking because of how it is so serious and it's heartbreaking. But I'm so humbled to be a part of it, of being able to help them one person at a time and bring hope to those women and children and girls. It breaks my heart to see that happen to anybody ever, and I wish that on nobody. And so it's really, it's a passion of mine to be able to. I look at my family and my nieces and my nephew, and I'm like, never. That will no, right. Yeah, and so just thinking about that from my personal family and thinking I never want that to happen, but then having those same eyes towards every person and saying, no, God's children are not for sale, none of them. And so being able to play this, being able to renovate a space that's going to help protect and shelter people that are, being trafficked potentially or that are coming out of it, like I said a minute ago, it will have an internal impact that we may never know until we get to heaven. But it is absolutely one of the most important things we'll ever do, for sure.
The organization that we are working with is called Elijah Rising. That is the place. That was our first outreach ever, Mike.
Yes.
6 years ago. And to be back there working with them again is an honor. And
Exciting.
Be praying for the team out there in Houston. They'll be wrapping up next week. Reagan, we only got a couple minutes left. Let's go to a little bit lighter topic. Someone that you know and love, just like I know and love, Ben Fuller, who supports 8 Days of Hope and partners with us. He's going on his Black Sheep Tour, 28 stops. And I think you've got some good news for the listeners, but I'm hearing that there could be a couple tickets maybe for free. Tell us a little bit more about that.
That's right. Yes. Okay. Well, we have a few tickets for some of the shows that are coming to a city near you. There's 28 shows, and so we have a few tickets that we're giving away for each show. And so all you have to do is just go to our Facebook and check out the post. We'll have it pinned at the top, and you can go and see how you can win 2 tickets to see Ben in a city near you. There will be instructions on that post, and then you'll just follow those instructions. And then if you're selected, we will message you.
So again, today, go to our Facebook page, 8 Days of Hope, and I guess it'd be on our Instagram page as well.
Yes.
If you like us for the first time, your odds probably increase a little bit. So if you don't like us, but yeah, all the information's there today, and you'll learn how you can win a couple free tickets to go see Ben Fuller live in person on his Black Sheep Tour. You perked up. Mike, I'm telling you, I've known you for 30 years. Reagan said for free. And you got this. You stood up in your chair and you got your pen out. Mike, I think I'll tell you what, Mike, March 15th in Erie, Pennsylvania, 90 miles from where you live. He'll be there in Erie if you want to do a little road trip. I know it's an hour and a half away.
I'll be there for free. Yeah, for sure.
I got you, Mike.
No,
I got you.
kidding.
I'm speaking that night. I got you, man.
I want to be there. I really want to be there.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, that's going to be fun. So, again, Facebook page, Instagram page, Ben Fuller, a couple free tickets. He actually sang at our gala this past year down in Tupelo. That was pretty cool, wasn't it, Reagan?
Oh, my goodness. Yes, absolutely. We've known Ben since 2022, and it's just been a privilege to be able to partner with him over these past few years. And yeah, him at the gala was wonderful. He had a great time. He had a great time, and we were certainly blessed
He did.
by his voice and by his testimonies.
Thank you, Reagan, for all that you do. Seriously,
Yes.
I know that you have been carrying a heavy, heavy load. And Father, I just lift up Reagan to you.
Yes.
Thank you for who she is in you. Thank you for her heart to use her gifts.
That's right.
In regards to social media, but so much more. Like Mike said, Father, her smile. She's so gentle. Thank you, Lord, for her gentleness. Thank you, Father, that as a staff member, she's so coachable. She doesn't get offended or defensive if someone points something out, but she welcomes it with open arms, that she wants to learn and be the best that she can be, not for her sake, but your sake, Lord. But bless her. Bless her in her journey. Father, we're blessed. We're a stronger team because she's on it. Be with her today. Give her some rest as she recovers. In Jesus' name we pray.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
We love you, Reagan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you, guys. I love you too, both.
We will see you soon.
Okay, sounds great.
Have a good day. Reagan Ayre is social media manager for 8 Days of Hope. She is so sweet.
Amazing. I was going to ask her, but I'll ask her in person. There's 24 hours in a day. How many hours do you gobble up?
And sometimes, Mike, you get posts on social media. They're not mean, but they're like, well, I'm glad you're helping out that town. What about our town?
Yeah.
Or, why'd you go there and why didn't you come here?
Absolutely.
Why did you feed at those 25 sites and you didn't pick our city?
Yeah, and she's got to answer those questions.
Yeah, and you've got to, and you got to do it. I'm sorry, we want to help everybody.
Yeah.
Come serve with us. We can help more people.
That's right.
Donate. We can provide more food.
Sure.
Pray and watch how God moves.
Absolutely.
But she handles those tough questions too as well. Because it's tough. We go to disaster. Brett McDowell, our first guest, he was in Houston. We helped 808 families rebuild their homes.
Mm-hmm.
But there were 300,000 families that had their homes flooded.
Right.
So we're thankful that we had the impact we had. Unlike any other ministry out there. Doesn't mean we're any better.
Right.
But we were all in on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But even there, we did like 0.3%.
Oh, goodness.
And yet many people saw Jesus. So we've coached her not to get upset, not to get defensive, and she's grown. I mean, she handles those with she did a great job.
Come out and pray first.
Yes.
Volunteer
Please.
and donate.
Yeah.
So we can continue.
We all can pray, though. We all
That's
can
right.
pray. And so be praying for our team in Texas as they wrap up today. I got a text on the show. We shot a video 6 years ago there. It was our first video about our Safe House ministry, and only have a minute to share the story. Our first Safe House ministry video ever. I'm walking across a bridge with Houston skyline behind me.
Okay.
And I'm announcing that we're launching a brand new arm of the ministry, and I'm inviting people to join us. Well, today on that same bridge, Zachary, my son, is taping a new video crossing the same bridge, talking about what God has done the last 6 years.
Bless you as a leader. Bless you as a dad. I mean, that's so,
oh my
so
gosh.
exciting. Yeah.
Well, so Mike, a lot of these takes in life that I do videos, I'm not bragging, I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
But in 1 or 2 takes, I usually can knock it out. Crossing that bridge, Mike, it took 23 takes.
Wow.
It killed me. Both myself and our videographer, Dal, who does an amazing job, each of us, way me more than him, had a flub, and it took 23 days. Zachary text said, Dad, love you. 1 take, knocked it out, buddy. You know what my text back was?
What?
Pride goes before the fall. Be careful, son. Be careful. Anyways, hey, we got to wrap up. Thanks for joining us today. Come join us. Go to 8dayshope.com for more information. Pray for the ministry of 8 Days of Hope. Pray for the team down in Texas. My name is Steve, hanging out with Mike. Next time it might only take us 1 or 2 takes, and we'll get it right.
All right.
Who knows?
Try. We'll try again.
Thanks for listening to Hope Reigns, a broadcast of 8 Days of Hope.
Thanks for listening to Hope Reigns from 8 Days of Hope. Come back next week for more God-sized stories from across the country. To listen to this or a previous episode of Hope Reigns, please visit our show archive at 8daysofhope.com.